Yooka-Laylee is a result of members of the old Rare team banding back together again as Playtonic Games and developing the closest thing to the Banjo 3E fans were all waiting for after Grunty's final message in Banjo 2E. There's no subtlety either, it's practically a copy of Banjo-Kazooie. But despite all the parallels, by the end of my nearly 26-hour-long completionist playthrough, the Rare game that Yooka-Laylee reminded me of the most was Donkey Kong 64. That could be a turnoff for some, but since DK64 is my personal favorite, I love Yooka-Laylee. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Like many others, I was a little skeptical about whether this game would live up to the hype, and my first impressions weren't exactly the best. Shipwreck Creek is a less memorable tutorial area than Spiral Mountain or DK's Treehouse. The game starts out very linear, which is odd considering it soon opens up significantly. The level design contains somewhat arbitrary floating platforms that were never present in the worlds of Rare's 64 days, and there's a real disconnect between the characters you meet and the places where you find them.
They seem totally out of place in this ecosystem.
But after taking a bit of a break and starting fresh with a new save file, I found myself appreciating the game so much more because I knew what to expect. It's got all the tongue-in-cheek and risque dialogue Banjo 2E does, the levels make great use of their space, and the world expansion mechanic is brilliant because it allows you to familiarize yourself with the layout of an area without being immediately overwhelmed by its scale. Not to mention the concept of making a book world bigger by adding pages to it is just genius. I've read that critics find the first world of this game to be the best one and they all slowly go downhill from there, but all 5 worlds engaged me pretty much equally. It's actually hard for me to pick a favorite. I mean, they also said that the game is uninspired, but I was surprised by how many clever and witty ideas there are and how they work together surprisingly well. I gotta say that even though the levels are huge and there's a lot of content that span many hours of gameplay, the game still felt oddly short because of how few levels there are. You could say I wish there were a few more chapters between the beginning and the end of this book. I really like Ivory Towers as a hub world. It's reminiscent of the Banjo hub worlds in the sense that as you gain more and more collectibles, you delve deeper and deeper into Capital B's sinister lair, and he builds your anticipation with goofy taunts just like Grunty, which is welcome in my book. Some say the hub world is badly designed and it's a confusing mess trying to figure out where the next level is, but I don't agree. None of the grand tomes took me that long to find. The game provides just enough direction to lead you in the general vicinity of the next grand tome, and with a little exploring you'll find it, and when you do it feels like you made a cool discovery. Perhaps this game's biggest criticism is that it feels dated, and I guess I can see why. The lack of handholding is one of the reasons for that. Yooka-Laylee also isn't the most polished game. The camera can be a little janky and the controls aren't tight 100% of the time. It doesn't throw new challenges at you at a mile a minute, and some might call it too easy minus some occasional frustrating difficulty spikes. It doesn't have intelligible voice acting, it arguably has too much stuff to collect, and it generally just doesn't have the feel of a modern AAA game. I find none of these to be bad things. The reasons I love this game are the same reasons I love Donkey Kong 64, despite that game being an easy target for talking about quote-unquote bad design. To me, one of the most beautiful qualities of the 3D collectathon genre is that most of it is low stress. Thoughtlessly exploring these huge worlds, clearing out their collectibles and acquiring permanent rewards, solving little puzzles, overcoming a wide variety of fairly simple tasks, it's satisfying and relaxing, almost hypnotic. Since when does a game have to be hard to be fun? And the hard parts that do exist? Man, are they hard, but oh so satisfying to complete. I never want to stop trying until I've defeated them. After which, I'm welcomed back to the relieving low-stress nature of the rest of the game. I also like the gibberish voices, but it might be nice if there was a separate volume control for them. And on that note, there are some other things about this game that I would probably change if I could. I wish it was possible to invert the camera without it inverting the first-person camera controls as well. It would be great if, in the middle of a Rextro minigame or a boss fight, you could hit pause and retry without having to die first. To get both of the pages from Rextro in each stage, you have to go through his minigame twice, once beating it normally and once beating his high score. But it should really be possible to get both at once. I wish the locations of certain collectibles weren't quite so obscure, or at least I wish there was a better way of locating them than looking at a walkthrough. I tried using the Hunter Tonic and it didn't seem to do anything. I think the mechanics on the slides in the casino are too finicky, and collecting the quills on those is a bit rubbish. But a few setbacks didn't prevent me from sinking my teeth into this game and savoring it like a tasty treat. I played this game on such a dinosaur of a computer that I had to switch to an 800 by 600 screen resolution on my monitor just to get the game to run mostly at a decent speed. And I still couldn't stop until I was done. When I wasn't playing Yooka-Laylee, I was thinking about the next time I would have a chance to. and I can guarantee I'll be replaying this game in the future. In short, if you're a fan of the old Nintendo 64 rare collectathons, even with whatever flaws they might have, Yooka-Laylee hits all the right notes. And I'm a proud backer.